The diner wasn't silent. It was sharp with laughter, cruel and cutting. At the corner booth, a group of rich college kids pointed at the quiet waitress, balancing too many plates in her trembling hands. One stuck out his foot. The crash of shattering glass made the whole place turn. She froze, her cheeks red, hands shaking as they mocked her. That's when the door swung open. A man in grease-stained boots and a worn jacket stepped in, his eyes narrowing at the scene. He didn't care who they were or how much money they had. He was a single-dad mechanic, and he wasn't about to let this happen. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. Pick it up, sweetheart. You missed a spot. The tallest boy in the booth, maybe 21 with slicked-back blonde hair, smirked as the waitress knelt down, gathering shards of glass with bare hands. Her name tag read, Lily. She looked young, maybe 23, her brown hair pulled into a messy ponytail, her eyes refusing to meet theirs. The other girls at the table giggled, snapping pictures. "Send it to the group chat. This is gold," one whispered. That's when a rough voice cut through the room. "Put your phone down." Every head turned. Standing just inside the diner door was Jack Turner, 36, broad-shouldered, oil still under his fingernails from the garage across the street. His 6-year-old daughter, Emma, peeked shyly from behind his leg, clutching a small stuffed bear. The laughter died. Blonde boy leaned back, smirking. "And who are you? Her bodyguard?" Jack stepped forward, voice steady. "I'm a man teaching my daughter what respect looks like. Something none of you seem to know." The tension snapped tight. Lily tried to wave him off, whispering, "Please don't. They'll just—" But Jack crouched beside her, brushing her trembling hands away from the broken glass. He pulled a rag from his back pocket, gently sweeping the pieces into it. "You'll cut yourself," he murmured, soft enough that only she could hear. Kindness in the middle of cruelty. One of the girls laughed nervously. "Oh my God, this is like a movie." Jack rose to his full height, eyes like steel. "Number, this is real life. And in real life, you don't treat people like trash." For a moment, the rich kids faltered. But arrogance is stubborn. Blonde boy chuckled, pulling out his black card and waving it like a shield. "Relax, grease monkey. I could buy your whole shop in a week." Jack didn't blink. Maybe, but money doesn't buy character. The entire diner was holding its breath. Lily's face burned, her chest rising and falling too fast. She wanted to disappear. But Jack wasn't finished. He reached for Emma's hand and guided her forward. "Emma, what do we say when we see someone being mean?" The little girl's voice was small but clear. "We say, 'Stop,' and we help." The silence that followed was deafening. Even Lily's eyes watered at the child's simple words. Jack looked back at the group. "You hear that? Out of the mouth of a 6-year-old. She's got more heart than the lot of you." For once, they had no clever comeback. The manager finally stepped in, voice sharp. "Enough, you—" He pointed at the group. "Out, now." Grumbling, rolling their eyes, the rich kids slid out of the booth and swaggered toward the door, throwing one last glare at Jack. As they left, Jack bent down to Lily, his voice low and kind. "You don't have to let people talk to you like that." Her lips parted, but no words came. Just a nod, shaky, grateful. Emma tugged on Jack's sleeve. "Daddy, can she sit with us? She looks sad." Lily blinked, startled. Jack gave his daughter a soft smile before glancing back at Lily. "Only if you want to." For the first time that night, She let out a tiny laugh, barely there but real. And in that moment, Jack had no idea that the quiet waitress he defended wasn't just some ordinary girl. Her truth was bigger than he could ever imagine. The diner calmed, though the weight of what just happened still clung to the air. Lily brushed her apron with trembling fingers, trying to compose herself. She wasn't used to anyone standing up for her, let alone a stranger. She whispered, almost to herself, "You didn't have to do that." Jack looked at her evenly. "Yeah, I did." He slid into a booth with Emma, motioning for Lily to join them. She hesitated, biting her lip. But the sight of the little girl patting the seat beside her made her give in. She slid across the booth, keeping her hands folded tight in her lap. The waitress inside her resisted the kindness. She'd spent years taking orders, swallowing insults, and bowing to authority. Sitting down with a customer, even one who defended her, felt like breaking a rule. But Emma's smile made it harder to refuse. "Do you like pancakes?" the little girl asked, her voice light, curious. Lily blinked, caught off guard. Yeah, I do." Emma grinned and turned to her dad. "Daddy, can we share ours with her?" Jack chuckled under his breath. "You already ate half of mine." Emma giggled, then turned back to Lily with all the innocence of a child, untouched by cruelty. "You can have the rest. Daddy makes the best pancakes too, but these ones are okay." For the first time that night, Lily laughed. Really laughed. It came out awkward, almost rusty, like she hadn't used that part of herself in too long. Jack noticed. He didn't comment, but the way his gaze softened said enough. Moments later, the manager approached, his face tight with nerves. "Lily, I saw what happened. Don't worry about the plates, and maybe take 5 minutes to breathe, okay?" His eyes darted to Jack as if silently thanking him. Then he hurried back behind the counter. Lily shook her head in disbelief. "That never happens. Usually they tell me to apologize to the customer no matter what." Jack's jaw tightened. "Then maybe you're working for the wrong people." His words hung heavy in the air. She wanted to argue, to say that not everyone had choices, but the conviction in his voice made her hesitate. She studied him. The grease-stained jacket, the calloused hands, the weary eyes that somehow still held fire. This wasn't a man who had it easy. And yet, he still stood up for someone else. Emma leaned across the table, whispering like she was letting Lily in on a secret. "Daddy fixes cars. He's really good at it." Jack chuckled, embarrassed. "That's one way of putting it." "You must work hard," Lily said softly. "Hard enough," Jack replied. His eyes flicked to her name tag. "What about you? How long you been here?" She hesitated. "Long enough." Then quickly changing the subject, she asked, "So, it's just you and her?" Jack's eyes softened as he looked at Emma, who was now doodling on a napkin with a crayon from her backpack. "Yeah, just us." Silence stretched for a beat too long. Lily shifted, clearly uncomfortable with how much she'd revealed, but Jack didn't press. He had a way of reading people without prying, of letting the silence say enough. Then the bell over the door jingled. The rich kids were back. They strutted in with cocky smiles as if nothing had happened. This time, though, they weren't laughing. Blonde Boy's smirk was sharper, dangerous. He stopped at the edge of Jack's booth, towering over Lily. "You think you can embarrass me in front of everyone?" His voice dropped to a low, venomous growl. Jack stood slowly, his shoulders broad, eyes locked on the kid. "Walk away. Now." But the boy leaned closer, ignoring him. His eyes burned into Lily's. "You'll regret this. Girls like you don't belong in places like this. You'll always be nothing." Something inside Lily cracked. She shrank back, old fears clawing at her chest. Jack saw it, and something inside him shifted. He took one step forward, putting himself squarely between her and the boy. "You don't talk to her. Not while I'm here." The boy laughed bitterly. "You think you're some kind of hero? You're just a washed-up mechanic. You don't even know who she is." The words slipped out like a threat. Lily's face drained of color. Her hands trembled under the table. Jack glanced at her, catching the fear in her eyes. "What does that mean?" he asked, his voice hard. But before she could answer, the manager rushed over again, furious this time. "That's it. Out. You're banned. All of you. Go find somewhere else to play rich." The group stormed out, slamming the door behind them, but not before the blonde boy shot one last glare at Lily. The diner returned to quiet chatter, but Lily was frozen, staring at the table, her breathing unsteady. Jack lowered himself back into the booth, his tone gentler now. "What did he mean? You don't look like someone who's nothing." She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Finally, her voice came out low, trembling. "I didn't want anyone to know. Not here, not now. I just wanted to work, to be normal." Jack leaned in, steady and calm. "Then don't tell me. Not until you're ready. But whatever it is, you don't deserve to be treated like that." For the first time, she met his gaze. Really met it. And in his eyes, she didn't see pity. She saw respect. Emma, oblivious to the tension, pushed the plate of pancakes toward Lily. "Eat. You look like you need it." Tears stung Lily's eyes. She laughed softly through the ache in her chest. "Thank you, sweetheart." Jack watched her take a bite, something shifting deep inside him. He didn't know her story. He didn't know why those rich kids seemed to know something he didn't. But one thing was clear. The quiet waitress wasn't who she seemed. And whatever her truth was, it was about to crash into his life harder than he ever expected. The night outside the diner had gone still, a cold hush settling over the parking lot. Jack walked Lily to the door after his daughter begged for one last hug. Emma clung to her like she'd known her for years, not just hours. "You'll come back, right?" Emma asked softly. Lily hesitated, her throat tightening. She wasn't used to being wanted anywhere. "I'll try." Jack gave a reassuring smile, but there was a question lingering in his eyes. The blonde kid's words had stuck to him like glue. "You don't even know who she is." When Lily finally walked away into the dim night, Jack couldn't shake it. Something about the way she carried herself, the flicker of fear in her eyes. It was bigger than just diner drama. The next day, Jack was back at his garage, lying beneath a rusty pickup, sweat dripping as he wrestled a stubborn bolt. Emma sat nearby with her coloring book, humming to herself. The rhythm of work should have calmed him, but his mind kept drifting. Why did Lily's hands shake like someone was watching her? Why did those kids taunt her like they knew a secret? The sound of heels on gravel pulled him from his thoughts. He rolled out from under the truck, wiping his hands on a rag. His breath caught. Lily stood at the edge of the lot, but she didn't look like the tired waitress from last night. She was dressed in a sleek navy blazer, tailored slacks, her hair smoothed into glossy waves. The timid posture was gone, her back was straight, her chin high, and she wasn't alone. A black SUV idled behind her, a man in a suit waiting in the driver's seat. Jack blinked, stunned. Emma ran to her with a squeal of delight. "Lily!" Lily knelt, hugging the girl tightly, but her eyes flicked up to Jack, nervous. I owe you an explanation." Jack folded, his arms grease-staining his shirt, looking her over carefully. "Yeah, I'd say you do." Her lips parted, but no words came. She motioned to the SUV. "Can we talk somewhere private?" Jack hesitated. Every instinct told him to protect Emma. But something in Lily's face, fear mixed with trust, made him nod. He told his daughter to stay near the office window and led Lily toward the back of the lot. She took a shaky breath. "My name isn't just Lily. It's Lillian Carter." Jack frowned. The name meant nothing. She studied his confusion, then added quietly, "Carter Industries." Jack's heart stuttered. Carter Industries was a name he'd seen splashed across billboards, shipping trucks, and newspapers. A company worth billions. He stared at her, dumbfounded. "You're that Carter?" She nodded. "My father's company, or it used to be. Now it's mine." The weight of her words hit like a wrench to the chest. Jack stared at the ground, then back at her. "So why the waitress job? Why hide?" Her voice cracked. "Because I wanted to see people. Real people. Not investors, not sharks waiting for me to fail. Just people. My father passed a year ago and the vultures circled. They all told me I wasn't strong enough, that I'd break. So I walked away. Took a job where nobody bowed or faked smiles. Where I could just exist." Jack rubbed the back of his neck, trying to process it. "And those kids last night?" Her jaw tightened. "Children of investors. They recognized me. They think humiliating me makes me weaker." She swallowed hard, her eyes glistening. "And maybe they're right. Because I froze. Until you..." She trailed off, shaking her head. Jack's chest tightened. He thought of how she'd knelt on the diner floor, picking up glass while they laughed. Knowing who she really was made it worse, not better. He spoke carefully. "Money doesn't mean anything if you let people treat you like dirt. You stood there last night like you didn't matter. But you do." Her eyes filled, shimmering with something raw. "Why did you help me?" Jack didn't hesitate. "Because Emma was watching. Because no one should be kicked while they're down." Silence stretched. The rumble of the SUV idling filled the space between them. Then Lily reached into her pocket and pulled out a small envelope. She held it out to him. Jack frowned. "What's that?" "A thank you." He shook his head, stepping back. "I don't need your money." Her laugh was soft, almost broken. "It's not money, just open it." Reluctantly, he took it. Inside was a card, official, embossed. Carter Industries, Executive Access. His name was typed beneath it. "What the hell is this?" he asked. Her voice steadied. "A chance. Last night you showed me what integrity looks like. I don't care about resumes. I care about people who won't bend when it's hard. I need that at my side at my company." Jack froze, the card heavy in his hands. He looked down at his oil-stained boots, then at her polished heels. Two worlds that didn't belong in the same room. "I fix cars, Lily. I don't sit in boardrooms." "Exactly," she said softly. "You fix what's broken. And right now, I'm broken." The words hit him harder than he expected. Emma peeked out the office window, her little hand pressed to the glass. Jack swallowed hard, torn. Finally, he sighed. "I'll think about it." Relief washed over her face, and for the first time, the steel melted from her posture. She looked like the waitress again, human, vulnerable. Before leaving, she crouched to hug Emma once more. The little girl whispered in her ear, "You're not sad anymore. Daddy makes people strong." Lily's eyes burned as she kissed Emma's forehead. She glanced back at Jack with a trembling smile. "She's right, you know." The SUV door opened, and she slipped inside. As it pulled away, Jack stood frozen in the gravel lot, the card still in his grease-stained hand. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But one thing was clear. The quiet waitress he defended wasn't just a girl trying to survive. She was a force about to rewrite his entire life. And maybe, just maybe, his kindness had rewritten hers too.